Hi, I'm Jale, welcome to my channel. This is going to be a past life reading, trying to get as many messages out there for you guys as possible within the time that we do this. This is just basically to break up the pick a card readings that I've been doing, because I know some of you guys do prefer the daily messages. So we do have a daily message tomorrow for Christmas that will be posted, okay? Then we've got also a review of the next decade, pick a card, and then we're going on to the 27th of December, which will be the the Aries readings, energies for January 2020. So that's what's to come, and then we'll be obviously focusing on the rest of the star signs up until the middle of January, and then we'll sort of review from there. I might be doing a bit more daily messages and readings, because I want to make sure I'm getting messages for everyone, and the pick a card sometimes, I don't know, I'm feeling like it's not, I want to get more specific. So we're going to be using the Wisdom Oracle card for these for this message today, based on past lives and any sort of patterns of behavior that have been carried forward, any insights, messages from Spirit. I'm just going to get a link with Spirit now and see what they want to bring through. Past life, please, Spirit. Okay. It's interesting. It's a lot of the focus at the moment is developing your own inner voice and the own inner sort of identity. But let's have a look. Let's go straight to the Oracle cards here. Let's see what they want to bring forward. They're saying they're just saying shuffle the cards. Okay. Let's have a look. So past life. Those who are watching, what information can you give us, please, based on the past lives of people watching that obviously is affecting the present? What can you tell us, please? There's a lot of karma being released. That's what they can tell me. Okay, there's a lot of healing. It's interesting. I'm immediately getting, this is for people that may resonate with the idea of not having money. Not having money, not having resources. There is an energy here of self-sacrifice, where in previous lifetimes potentially you have sacrificed your needs for the good of all. There was a potential sort of energy of financial impoverishment almost, that has carried forward, I'm being told. It's like you didn't follow a path of there was very much a focus on the three-dimensional, and the money was a priority to you. And some of you have come back here, you may be repeating similar energies where you're struggling around finances, but it's based on because of the fact that Spirit want you to go in alignment with your more 5D self, your higher self, rather than the mainly practical sense of this lifetime. So it's about a balance between the two, the practical and the spiritual, coming into alignment. So if you do resonate with the financial side of things when I've said that, bear in mind that that could be a reason. They're trying to break that pattern at the moment. I've got new life, okay. We've also got to the sea. So this is about cleansing and removing those layers, those karmic layers. It's interesting. You could also be feeling at the moment an energy of regret over the past. And it's also about timing and your age. If you resonate with that energy where you're focused on the timings of things, and I need to get this done by this point in time, I need to be at this age to get this. This is not a race, they're saying. It's one or two of you would have come into a previous lifetime, or sort of towards the end of the previous lifetime, have looked back and were unsure of your path, or unsure of what you, it's like you were very hard on yourself when you left that sort of lifetime, and it's like you were worrying about where your place was and if you fulfilled what you needed to in that life. And it's like some of those energies have been brought forward into this lifetime, where you feel it's like a void or something. It's like a niggling feeling that you might have, where you're really focused on creating a legacy of some kind. And it's like you're trying to, there's a bit of a race for this. It's like you're trying to rush through the timing of it, so that you can make sure that you are achieving. But this is the thing, the onus is very much on the physical rather than a balance. You must stay flexible, okay? It's interesting as well. I'm seeing as well with that energy that you are feeling like there is a lot of temptations being placed in your path, and there's a struggle with deciding what is best for you in the sort of greater good, and what is best for you now. I'm just seeing you past life wise where it's like shortcuts were made because you were trying, you didn't have the resources. You didn't have the resources to carry out certain things, so you were trying to sort of tread water a little bit. So watch for that in this lifetime as well, where you're thinking, well, long term this doesn't serve me, but short term it will. This is about the bigger picture, because again, it was like there was an energy of that kind. And again, if you're totally not in the mindset of, well, I've not got any financial lack, but I'm talking not just the normal financial lack, I'm talking an extreme financial lack, right? There was a choice that was made in a past life, one past life, where you sacrificed your greater good for a short-term win around that, and it's that pattern's been brought into this lifetime. So whenever you're deciding, it could be that you're balancing, juggling bills, and you can't do this, but your lifelong plan is that, and it's going against that. There has to be, and it's easier said than done, there has to be a balance with it, because with you being on a treadmill of kind of trying to pay back Peter to pay Paul, it doesn't create a new pathway. It just kind of fulfills the same cycle. But there's what Spirit is saying is that the real reason and the real message behind that, there was a fear of going into your alignment, because yeah, it was like a fear of, I'm hearing responsibility. There's also an energy around here of real stubbornness, of letting people help you, because then you feel like you owe them. It's like yeah, it's interesting. It's like, if they help me, how am I going to, what's the outcome if they help me? If they help me, are they going to expect something? And again, I feel like that's another energy that's carried forward from a past life into now, where now it's got to the point where there are people that are helping you, and actually it is potentially for your greater good, but you're not dismissive of it, but you're almost suspicious of it. And again, if this doesn't resonate, it's a general reading, so just take what does. There's a lot of different scenarios within that, but let me just pinpoint this energy specifically. This is mainly for those who worry about where life is taking them, where they're going to be in X amount of time, or what is going to be brought to them. It's like there's a real fear going on here. It's like whatever's going on in your day to day is being, it's like fired up from a past life scenario here. Because it's not meant to close you down even more and be resolute in helping yourself and being hermit mode or anything like that. It's because it's almost not a stubbornness. It's almost like I'm scared to accept help, because what are they going to want in return? What do they want from me? And so people are closing themselves off. You gotta be open to sometimes accept some help, because Yeah, because it'll reward you. It will reward you. There will be a blessing from that. It's not to say you're weak or an extreme kind of unworthiness, or you're not. Do you know what I mean? It's to show willing that you're, because we're all interconnected. You know, we're all interconnected with this. So what else are you kind of saying no to when you're saying no to help yourself? Even though it's a bit of a pride thing, I feel. But it's like I'm just getting this overwhelming image of someone really suffering in a past life, and it could be more than one of you. They're saying yes, that have absolutely been in like poverty because they didn't want to accept help, and actually this has been carried over. Okay, you're actually it's a fear at this point, to the point where people will help and you'll say no because you're worried that it's going to snowball into something else. And it's interesting because I feel like they're also bringing examples of you of that, where people have done that to you before in this lifetime, and yet you still say no because you're scared that the previous patterns will present, because you may have accepted it once and then the person itself wasn't particularly authentic, but now it's like a common theme where you're not accepting any help, and there's no balance there. This is because there's also a block around the heart center, and so you're preempting that is going to cause more upset if you do say yes. Because again, I'm seeing the same scenario with this past life, where it's like you ended up to the point where you were extremely closed off, and then you regretted it. And this is going to sound really harsh, but it's, to be honest with you, it's the most strongest message I'm getting, because it will do you good to allow a little bit of openness, because then you can test the water then and see, give people some opportunity to be different, and if they are different, then great, and if they're not, then you can move away from that and go to who is different, because not every energy is the same, but you need to show some willing, because it's going to open doors for you, and your finances will change in this lifetime. But there's definitely an overwhelming energy, and I get it, we're in Christmas and people are going to be like, well, what's that psychic information about? That's sort of common sense at this time of year. I'm talking about the kind of people that are at a point of, what on earth am I going to do? Not, I've spent too much this Christmas and oh dear, I've got to be a bit careful now. I'm talking about, these are people that are struggling beyond struggling. Yeah, this is an extreme now. And that the people that this is going to relate to, we're going to know this, because it's going to instinctively spark some reaction in them. You're not acknowledging something within you as well that is going to help you out of this. And the reason for that is because you've closed yourself down a little bit based on that hurt. And so now you're closing yourself down to spirit as well. And so you feel very alone, and I understand that. Not everyone is the same. I feel like you're going to be this is really very good example from what Spirit is saying. It's almost got to the point where you've closed yourself down into a very, maybe you're not wanting to be around people, maybe you're not wanting to connect with any new people, because you don't think that that's going to bring a change. But there's such a similarity with the past life and this life that you are going to have an opportunity to change that, and you are going to end up resolving this cycle. But the first step is to acknowledge that you are not being persecuted for any other reason other than the fact that there is an imbalance in you keeping and remaining open when you're hurt. You've blocked your heart chakra off. We need to start building faith in you with other people and yourself, because it's now becoming a self-esteem issue as well, which it did back then as well. There's something about being employable. It could just be that you feel like your job's at risk as well. There could be a link with that. It's not going to apply to everyone. It's like you're reviewing yourself and looking at yourself saying, well, yeah, I don't really blame them for not wanting to employ me, or I don't really blame them for doing this because what have I got to offer? This is the thing, in the past life when you did that, the reason it developed into that point was because you were totally submerged into three-dimensional reality and you close yourself off to spirit. And so your environment reflected that, and then it ended with there was an extreme poverty that you suffered. You brought some of that energy in, and you've brought a similar energy as well to be resolved and healed. And I don't think you started out like this in this lifetime. I feel like you were fairly open with it, but there was always something in the back of your mind thinking, just don't give too much away, or don't get too close to people. And now it's getting to the point where it's a pattern of behaviour that is now definitely not serving you. Try baby steps towards gaining faith back in people, because it's really needed. And you'll find that there is going, I mean, look, there's always going to, we're in a dualistic environment that, you know, within Earth. So you're always going to find that there are some people that are going to show and reflect that back to you, but there are also people that aren't. And it's those people that you have to sit and go, right, I hand this upstairs now. I'm going to show willing, I'm going to remain open. I'm going to come out of my comfort zone a bit. Maybe if someone invites me around for Christmas drinks, I would usually say no, but I'm going to say yes. Even if it's 10 minutes and then you make an excuse and go, because that is going to really help. Spirit also saying that the Yes Man, I don't know if you've seen that film, but it's where someone decides to take their life upon them and say yes to everything and see where it leads. They're giving that as an example. So try it out, even if it's for a day, to see what returns you get. But it's like the universe, the spirit, are trying to help you understand, and this is for those who this relates to, they're trying to help you understand that there's an energy exchange here of an imbalance. So when you're closing yourself off and you're saying no, and you know, I don't want that energy near me, you're blocking yourself away, and then it's blocking other things out as well, which they don't want. They want you to receive, be able to receive, and that includes the good and the bad. And yes, that's a hard lesson, but it's needed because it's getting to the point where it's out of balance, and then your environment's reflecting that with further impoverishment and or issues around jobs, people, and they're saying time to take that back now, because there needs to be some balance within this. There's something around, I don't know, there's some of you I feel have maybe just removed yourself from a job, or there's an issue around a job, but then some of you, it's like you absolutely despise going into work and it's just a nightmare, and that's not helping you either. I used to work as a recruitment manager, and January was often a very, very good time for new work. All right. What I would say is don't rush it, because it's not a matter of just jumping out the frying pan into the fire. This is about, where do you want to take yourself with this job, or this you know, this situation? Because if you know where you're going with it, and that's great, but if it's just a job to pay the bills, what about the bigger picture here? Because there's such a, I mean, look, the overriding energy is this impoverishment that I'm seeing in a past life that's been brought here by several of you watching this video. For some of you, bits and pieces will resonate, some of you, not all of it. Everyone's different, but it's like they're trying to get a cycle closed out so they can give you the good stuff, but that you have to show some willing. It's a two-way street. I'm hearing being knocked back down. So maybe you've had issues around applying for work and jobs that are just saying no, 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 no. You've got to also picture, are you saying no to yourself? Are you fully honouring you? Because I'll be honest with you, I was made redundant like 5 times. And the reason for it, from my opinion, was because I wasn't supposed to be doing that job. You know what I mean? Because I'm meant to be doing this. So you got to remember there's a balance with these things. So this, in the job side, it's like many of you are going to be watching this saying, well, I totally relate to the hate. I hate my job. What are you meant to be doing? There's a lot of creative energy I'm picking up when I ask the guides that question, where some parts are being shut down based on this inequality around the money side of things, or this imbalance. And there's a part of you that is very creative, a lot of you, that again didn't have a chance to come out in past lifetimes because it was like a part of you was closed off. All right. Again, they're showing me a voice as well now. So are you able to sort of openly discuss your needs as well, and your wants and your wishes? Because that's also a part of this that's combined in. When you're giving your energy out and openly kind of expressing yourself, you're showing that you are open and connecting with a certain energy, and you're open to connection, okay? Which is also a two-way street, because then you'll get something back. You have to just open your energy up. That's that creative, very kind of inner child energy. Yeah, see, now I'm getting in a lot of inner child energy. Some of you could be putting energy into working with children based on neglect issues from this lifetime, but also previous lifetimes, because you're piling your energy into external situations as opposed to helping yourself, which they're also asking to rebalance, because that will not fulfill the healing that needs to take place. Mainly we need to be looking at your life purpose and life path, because there's a lot of people I feel are going to be watching this that are going to sit and go, yeah, I totally do not understand what I'm here for and what I'm meant to be doing, especially with jobs, you know. And again, I'm getting a fog around it where I'm hearing expectations. And again, this is another past life thing. It would have appeared in this lifetime where maybe family have placed expectations on you for jobs. But this also relates and links to another past life, or more than one past life, where you've carried out a plan as per your family and you haven't honoured your own path. That, again, you need to ask yourself, removing all the expectations that are placed upon me, what is it I want to do? What is it I feel I need to be doing or want to be doing? Where is my heart? Okay. What would be my passion project? If I could do anything in the world, what would it be? Because it's like people are disconnecting from their spiritual self in order to fully settle in the three-dimensional reality we're in. And whilst we need a balance between the two, we're now disconnecting from above, which is not the purpose we're here either. We're meant to be living in both three-dimensional, the physical reality, as well as a connection to upstairs. That's the ideal. Okay, so let's get some insights here, or outcomes for, I'm going to use the Archangel cards. Outcomes, please. What insight can you give us, please, in relation to past lives and what people need to be aware of at this present moment, please, Spirit? What can you tell us? What can you tell us, please? Outcomes. Outcomes, please. Past life. Patterns on repeat. Okay, awesome. To any of you who have sat and had that answer pop into your head about what am I here to do? How am I going to move out of this? What am I really here to kind of be doing? This is what Spirit is saying to you. Your prayers have been heard and answered. Have faith. Okay, so maybe it could be that you are already on your way to that, but it's not just quite manifested yet, and there's a few other bits and pieces you need to resolve. If that's the case, you need to just hand it upstairs and say, I trust and have faith that this will be delivered in the right time. We release the need for timing. Let's get the Keepers of the Light deck insight here. I'm going to read from the book, but I'm also going to channel from the card. What information can you give us, please, Keepers of the Light, for those that have cycles within past lives that are being brought into the now? What information, guidance and insight can you give us, please? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Wow. Inner strength. Move back to wholeness. Recognize that you have the power. Wow. You need to believe in yourselves. Let me just read from the book and then we're going to channel from her, because I do love Brigid. She's awesome. Not that I know her personally, but you know. Okay. She's actually how the Great Britain was named, because she's a Celtic goddess. Okay. Inner strength. Brigid is a Celtic goddess of Ireland who's closely associated with fire and the time of spring. She's a twin flame of Cernus, She is so well loved to the Celtic people that when Christianity came to Ireland, she was adopted as a saint of holy wells and other holy places. She's a powerful figure who can help us channel our energy into something that is important for our growth. As she herself has lasted through the ages, she adds longevity to our journey so we can reach a deep state of wholeness. You can call on her to bring her sacred flames to burn away anything that's not serving you, to bless any new projects you have in mind, and for support with fertility. Your spiritual fire is growing within. Recognise that with the power of your soul is greater than you think. You've come a long way since you began this journey. There is a powerful force within you, and you have the ability to create wonderful changes in your own life and inspire those around you to do the same. Be aware of new projects, opportunities and fertile ideas that you can grow into something larger than you may imagine. Call on the fiery goddess Brigid to light the way ahead. You must believe in yourself. You've got to be very careful with accepting people's perceptions of you. If people have placed labels on you to say, oh, well, I can't see you doing that. Great, well, you can't, I can. And that's not an arrogance. That's I can feel within myself that this is something that I'm meant to be doing. And it's not based on an illusion or an imbalance or a need for ego to prove and be patted on my head. It's because I know that this is inbuilt into me and that there is no, I'm beyond a shadow of a doubt, this is my path. You will have 1,000,001 people. I have to deal with it every single day as a psychic. For those that know me and have obviously had readings, I don't have to. For people that want to, you know, troll me, bring it on. Like, I don't care anymore. Because it's a shame that they're shutting off their own perception of what this could mean for them. It doesn't mean to say I'm a super being. It just means that I've cottoned on to the fact that there's more to this life and that I need to be aware of everything as best I can, you know. She's asking you to reclaim your own sense of self and to be unapologetic about it without stepping on toes and being a total douchebag, you know, without being a Machiavellian, or that's obviously not what they're talking about. You know what it is you need to do as well. You know exactly what it is you need to do. Be mindful of that inner voice. So if you heard of inner voice when I said you know what you need to do, believe it. Believe that. You need to call, well, you don't have to do anything, but you could call on Brigid, okay, to work with you and her energy, because she is definitely open to that. So if any of you are sitting doubting what your next move is, because she's saying she had to do that, she had to fight for her voice, she wasn't heard. Now, I mean, I'm sure if I trailed through the history books, that would like prove that, but I'm just listening to what the energy is via her through my guides. She had to fight to be heard. She had to fight for her path. And look, the longevity of her memory is a testimony to what that woman probably went through. You know, like, and this is not just about femininity or anything. Let's be realistic. This is about across the board voices of everybody. We're not going to sit here and say, well, only the women should think about this, because that's ludicrous. I'm talking across the board. If you know deep down that you have got a passion project that you had to put to one side because money, family, expectations, you have to start looking into that. Or you don't have to, but maybe give yourself some time to re-look at that, because is it your true path? Is that your true north? And if it is, what are you going to do about that? Okay, other messages please for those that most need to hear that information. The divine director, intervention and purpose. Divine intervention is occurring. Know that you are being guided. Happiness is your purpose. Okay, they're not here to take the mick and sort of drive you slowly insane. They're here to try and give you your best insight, and it can be brutal. I'm not going to lie to you. This is not an easy path, or easy to come here, you know, and try and live that multiple kind of dualistic energy with that kind of, you know, for every kind of light being that you get, you always get a polarization of that, and it's like insanity. But this is where by us sticking to our paths and honouring ourselves, it creates a balance, it creates an allegiance to a connection that then raises the whole vibration of the planet. Okay, so it says, the divine director is a facet of the heart of the creator. According to New Thought teaching, his energy is merged directly with God's divine plan so that we can access it and understand on a deeper level what will support our true function, which is to be happy. The divine director works directly with angels, and in particular guardian angels, so that they can fulfill their role in supporting Earth and all of her people. Right now, your angels are reminding you that your divine purpose on Earth is to remember, love, and do what makes you happy. Yes. Divine intervention is taking place at this time. What is occurring in your life is providing a real learning curve for your soul. You're becoming aware of a sense of purpose in your life. It gives you a sense of joy. It's something that brings you pleasure rather than something you have to work for. Know that your career can complement your purpose but not define it. But the path you are on at this time is right, and the universe is encouraging you to move forwards. For all those, and I'm just channeling this by the way, for all those who have thought, I kind of really want to go back to that, but I don't know how I'm going to do it, focus and try and get a plan together. Trust and listen, meditate, connect with your higher selves, call upon your guardian angels, ask for, the best way to do it is ask for insight into how best to move forward. And then pay attention to what is around you, signs, synchronicities. If you're getting 1111 on a clock 100 times a day, Google 11111 and make a note of it. Part of the reason I started YouTube was because I was writing so many journals down and ideas down and information and insight. I run out of space to put the books and notebooks. So at least now I can record them, because then I can watch. I'm channeling for myself as well as everyone else. This is a collective thing. We're all connected. Where is your path, and how is the best way to move forward on this that is in alignment with your heart self and your higher self, that means you are gravitating towards your true north? It will create your peace as well. If you're not at peace within your day-to-day and you know there's something just not quite right, he is basically providing insight and that energy to say, we need to relook at that now, and we need to propel forward. Because where you've maybe doubted that and thinking, well, I was told I could never do that, and I'm like, well, is it you're being told that, or is someone externally to you that isn't your guides, that isn't your higher self, that isn't the synchronicitous environment of the universe, you know, of the place that you're in, who is giving you the insight, the universe or someone that hasn't even got their own life sorted out? You know, sort of random friends or people. No offense to those people, but sometimes they try and help, and sometimes it's not always accurate. That's why we've got to discern, and connection upwards will always help us discern that, because we can fact check. It's very important to fact check. There is so much misinformation out there, especially with people that are trying to awaken. There's a million examples I can give, but for example, flat Earth. Like, oh, this is getting shady now, but you know, don't be misled. Fact check. And I'm talking even with me, even if I'm saying something, fact check. You know, believe nothing, question everything, but you must connect with yourself, because it's the best way to generate that path and understand how best to move forward. Those projects that maybe you put back for 2 years because you were thinking, I don't want to do that, they said I wouldn't amount to anything. Well, okay, great. Let them think that. You just do what you need to do, you know. Okay, so let's pull final outcomes here. Spirit, outcomes, please. Outcomes. You've got your backing 100%, all right? They're behind you on this. They're behind you, all right? Just keep going with it, all right? 4 is the number of the Cancer in the home, the self. The connection to the self and upstairs is what is needed, and checking, fact checking, but understanding that there's a reason for all this. Okay, guys, hopefully that's been of some help. Have a wonderful Christmas if you don't watch any more videos, or I don't sort of see you until after Christmas. Thank you for all your likes, subscriptions and shares. It means a lot to me. Take good care of yourselves, and bye-bye.